Hello? Am I live? Is this on? Hi, guys. Hi, Allison. Hi, Rick. Hi, Julia. Um, so I know I'm super late with this Q&A. I know I said 3, and it is now 3:43. 40 minutes late. 43 minutes late. Hi. Hi, Robert. Did Ruthie tell you about my dream the other day, where you came to my rescue? Yeah, that was really funny. Uh, Never mind, because then people are gonna ask. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Let me just like adjust the camera. It's kind of bugging me. So, hi guys. Super excited about the questions that I got. This time, people came through. I had like 2 questions. I had gotten from someone, do you like it? And someone else um, had told me, is it cold? So I feel like both of you guys, I feel like both of those questions are kind of like I don't need to answer them. The dream, okay. Okay, so this dream, okay, I think it happened like on Wednesday or Thursday. And I've been feeling like I don't know, like I miss my mom a lot. That's been like the struggle of the week is missing my mom. Uh, and okay, so I dreamed I was back in Downey at the parking lot on Firestone at the Dollar Tree. And I dreamed that me and my mom were walking through a parking lot and she just wasn't paying attention. Like she just was walking through and there was like a van backing up and she was just like walking behind it and I ran and I like stopped the van with my hands and I pushed it because I was like mad that someone was gonna run over my mom, and I damaged the van, and the driver jumps out, and I think it's Gary Busey. Like he just looks like absolutely crazy, and he starts yelling at me, and then another guy that was like in the car behind, he comes up and he's like, "No, it was your fault. Like you should have been watching. Like it's not her fault." And then these two people start fighting, and my mom is still not paying attention. I'm freaking out because I don't know what I'm doing, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do. These two people are gonna fight." I damaged the van, which I stopped with my hands, and then I was like, "I'm just gonna call Robert." Robert is my best friend's stepdad, and I called him, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll be right there. Don't worry." And then I woke up. So I actually don't know what happened with those two guys, if they ended up fighting or not. Um, but yeah. Anyway, super long intro. I think I got comments and questions from Facebook and I got some on Instagram. I didn't hit up people on Snapchat only because, yeah, those are really more pictures. They don't really ask a lot of questions there. Or at least not my people on Snapchat. So I have to ask her questions first, or she's gonna get really upset, and I'm gonna have to hear about it. So, um, hang on, what was that? I saw your comment, Rick. Would it be the first time Gary Busey got into an auto accident? No, it wouldn't. And he looked particularly crazy, and I was just like, oh god, that was that was scary. Okay, so first things first, I'm the realist. No, uh, okay. So my best friend's questions, Kelly and Jackie are gonna go first. They have dibs, guys. I'm really sorry. That's just the way of the world. Um, okay, so Kelly asks, "Who do you miss the most?" Really, really, like you're just that's what we're gonna. Of course, I miss you, silly, and I miss my mom, and like my whole family I miss. But I remember I remember last week I was really missing Kelly, and this week I've been really missing my mom. It goes back and forth. I'm never just like, Everything's fine. Who said her mother? Can we not fight about this? Guys, I am in pain. Okay? Let's not talk about who's causing me more or less pain. Like, it hurts. That's all I know. Um, do you plan to stay longer than originally planned? No. Um, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, Kelly. Hi, Jada. Oh my God. I can't start saying hi to people because then this is just going to be like 40 minutes of me saying hi to everyone. Um, shut up. The word moth is in mother. Oh, that's deep though. Nice. Nice. Okay. Um, so Kelly asked, do you plan to stay longer than originally planned? Um, no. No, the plan was to come home in January. Um, Technically, I have until the end of the month to decide before I pick my classes for the upcoming semester. I think it's right to go home. Um, I don't I feel like I can get a lot done in a semester, and I'm this close to graduating. So, I want to go home, graduate, find a position somewhere, make some money, pay off some of this debt, and then like I'm going to graduate school, guys. I That's like set in stone. Um, I think I am going to take a year to just make money and try to take care of the debt that incurred from this trip. Um, but I also have to do my research. I've always been set on going into grad school, but I have a lot of professors that have gone through this process, and they really want me to go for a PhD program versus just getting my master's. So, unfortunately, Cal State LA does not um, offer a PhD in literature or English language teaching, which is what I want to do. So it would have to be like starting the application process, the research process all over again, and figuring out, okay, what are my best options? What can I afford financially? What are, what is, sorry for saying, Kelly. Um, sorry. I'd have to research everything all over again, look at the best. That was that was not an Technically, it's on a different tally. I almost did it, but I didn't. Um, God, that's so annoying. Yeah, no, but I'm coming home so I can graduate. Long story short, no. Uh, what food do you want to try that you haven't yet? Sunday roast. Like that sounds really nice. Like it sounds so wholesome and like I don't know, like it's a thing here. So it's usually like a chicken and some carrots and potatoes and um like really just homey food, and it sounds amazing and I really want to try it. Um are you going of are you thinking of going pink since you looked so good in that wig? No, I don't have thick hair and I don't have a lot of hair. So for me to get that vicious pink, I'd have to bleach it, I'd have to paint it, I'd have to do maintenance on it. And one, I'm poor, and two, I don't have time for that. And so I think the wig, which is like chillin', I don't know if you can see it, chillin' right there. So I don't know. I do think wigs are really cool. So if I feel like it and if I feel the need, I will probably invest in some quality wigs because this is like just a cheap little wig. So no, I'm not gonna dye my hair pink. Uh, my other best friend Jackie, she sent me a lot of questions. Someone only sent 4, so I don't know who I'm really missing right now. Uh, You noticed my Pan Am bag. It's vintage. I'm so proud of it. It's actually my second Pan Am bag. Gorge. It's real. Okay, so Jackie's question. What's your favorite food there so far? Indian food. Like, I'm Mexican, guys. I love bold flavors. I love spice. I love seasoning. I love a punch of garlic in my face. And really, the only place to get that here is Indian food. I'm a big fan of tikka masala. Hi, Daddy! Oh, my mom wrote that. He's watching. Hi, puppy! Um, Sorry, I'm wake. It's like 11 here. It's almost midnight. I don't want to wake up my flatmates and like annoy the shit out of them. Um, Try to keep it down. Um, so yeah, Indian food is where I'm at. I like tikka masala. Um, what is something people should see in London that not many know about? Uh, I really like Covent Garden. And I know when you're surrounded by so many awesome things in London, um, it's hard to really pick something. But Covent Garden, just because of the history there and the vibe there and all these important things that are bigger, I think it gets overlooked, but it's actually a really cool place to be, and the market there is really nice. We went to a really nice French restaurant there, and it was all vegan and all clean, and it was very nice. So, Covent Garden. Um, what's something bad about London? Uh, I think like any big city, there's weird smells. There's weird smells, and especially in the tube. Or I've actually been told I mispronounced that. It's tube, but I can't mimic their accent. It's just it's too much. Um, there's weird stuffiness that I don't like about the air sometimes. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, the weird smells about London is kind of annoying. What do they have over there that they don't have here? Okay, are you ready for this? This is gonna blow your mind because I know it blew my mind. Hang on, I didn't grab them. Hang on. Okay, can you see these? I found Kinder eggs, guys. Like legit Kinder eggs. Like look at these. We haven't had these in the States since like the 90s. I remember having them as a kid, but like I guess American kids were so dumb that they would kind of just eat the Kinder egg and not really think, "Oh, I'm not supposed to eat the prize inside." So, I found them, I bought them, and I'm so excited. Like I've been told that because the chocolate here isn't that sweet compared to ours. Like literally, their Kit Kats taste completely different. They are illegal here. Legit, they are illegal. So this is like so cool to me. They have okay, so they look like that. There's 3 little eggs in there. Um, oh my gosh, dropping the egg. Um, so it's like I've literally been saving these for weeks specifically for this Q&A because I knew someone was gonna be like, "What's the food like?" And now I'm thrilled. Like I really hope this is not gonna be a disappointment to me because I've stared at them for weeks and I've been hungry and I've contemplated eating one, just one. Oh my god. Do I bite it or do I like crack it and then like eat the pieces? I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to eat this. Okay, whatever, I'm just gonna bite it. Oh wow. Mm, yeah, that's more like our candy. That's more like our chocolate. That is really sweet. Oh, it's in a little pot. I'm just gonna put that there. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna eat the prize. Oh, wow. It's a little motorcycle that you have to put together. Why would I want to do work when I'm eating candy? Oh, it's got instructions. Oh, it's for your hand. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna build it, but I appreciate it. Okay. Sorry. Yes, Kinder eggs is what I've been able to find. So that answers that question. Um, how does it feel to be driving on the left side? I haven't driven. There was talks about me driving because it was kind of annoying to get to a place that we want to go called Brighton. Um, but that scares me. I think it scares everyone because I'm not the best driver to begin with. And now you want to switch it up on me, and I'm just going to be like, I don't know where I'm going, but we're not dead yet, so let's just keep it positive. How's their pizza over there? Healthy? That's the best thing I could. Well, no, it's actually really good. We went to an Italian place. Oh my gosh, in Bath, I think, and it was like legit Italians, and I like at a legit Italian place. That's probably the best pizza I've ever had. Like it was thin and crispy and beautiful in every way, but um, their menus here, as far as toppings, um, completely different. I mean, there's like an Indian influence to them. There's a Arab influence to them. There's toppings that I don't know. Okay, so the first time I read a pizza menu, there was something called an American hot pizza, and it's a thing. It's on a lot of menus, and I finally got my hands on a menu that explained what an American hot is. An American hot is a pepperoni pizza with jalapenos on top. And I was like, I didn't know that that was a thing. Like, you could just order an American hot somewhere and people know what you mean. But that's really cool because that's actually one of my favorite kinds of pizzas with just jalapeno, pepperoni, cheese, done. But that's a thing. They also have a Mexican one, which has nothing to do with Mexican food, but it has a lot of peppers on it, so I guess it's kind of spicy. So I guess that's Mexican. Um, how are the bars over there? Super chill. Super chill. I mean, like, I feel like at a bar at home, if you're cute and you're dressed cute, guys will come up to you and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And even if you're not putting out any vibes, like you just don't want to meet anyone, you're just like, like having a good time, someone will hit you up. That's just, I mean, some people like that. Personally, I don't really want to have that when I'm just chilling with my friends. Here, people are just like happy to let you drink and not bother you, and they're just very easygoing. No one comes up to you and just like, so what's your name? It's just like, have a beer, don't have a beer, don't matter to me. Can you see my heart? Can you see the little? It's gonna be kind of hard to show you without like totally wrecking the angle, but okay. Oh, look how cute that is, guys. I spent so much time on that. I'm not even willing to admit on camera how much time I spent doing that. Tumblr. Yes. Okay. How is the beer over there? Do they have IPAs? Yes, they do have IPAs, and they call them American IPAs, and I love that. That's amazing. I have a flatmate who actually really likes them. His name's Nick. He's from Australia, and yeah. The beer is pretty good. I thought I was just gonna... Hi, Dale. Uh, the beer is, it tastes nicer. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's, I think alcohol-wise, it's pretty much the same, but I think in America, um, you have a we're more into craft beer, I think, in America. We don't really drink um, big, huge beers. Most of our beer, or at least in LA, are from microbreweries, and they have a lot of flavor, which usually ends up resulting in a beer that isn't as um, easy to drink. Like it's usually like you've got all these different notes in it. Here, beer is just beer. That's just it. No one cares about craft beer or anything like that. Sorry, I had to like adjust the background because it's kind of bugging me. Um, how's the metro over there? Their public transit, so good. I mean, it's annoying and I hate walking, but it's an adjustment and nothing that we have compares. Like, the, it's pretty cheap and it's fast and it's, for the most part, pretty reliable. Um, there's one line right now, I think Piccadilly, that's kind of just like it's going through like a remodeling, so sometimes they get behind, but um, it's really good, easy to understand. I feel like it can be kind of complicated going to like different sides and different platforms for different trains, um, but spend a week here and you'll get it. It's not that hard. Um, how diverse is it over there? Okay, London is completely international. Completely international. It's like walking around LA, but even in LA, I don't think we're so diverse in such a small space. I think they are just as diverse, if not more diverse than LA. Um, and they intermingle, guys. Like, I feel like in LA, you have like Chinatown. You have like this little Middle Eastern area. You have a little Mexican area. You have where like the white people like to hang out, and you can go between, but those groups never really like mix. They do here. Like if you walk around London, you will hear at least 5 different languages walking down the street. If it's packed, you might hear more than 10 or something like that. It is crazy. There's a lot of Chinese people here. A lot of Chinese. And that's crazy because I never really thought that, um, well, I guess that's kind of my ignorance though, isn't it? Because I never thought that, I mean, no one's told me that we have a lot of Chinese people in London, but we do. Yeah. Um, their crime rate is not as high as ours. That's not a shock because we are literally like one of the most violent countries in the world. Um, their gun violence is like almost nothing, but they do have a lot of knife violence. I guess that's what happens when you have gun control. People don't stop committing crimes; they just find another weapon. Um, I think that's it for Jackie's questions. Charles uh, asked me a few questions. How's your program so far? Pretty good. It's a lot of reading, and I was warned about the reading. It literally is anywhere from 200 to 350 pages a week for all my classes, and that's a good week. I have had one class that assigned a whole book, and I had to read it on top of everything else, and that wasn't fun. I think that book alone was 900 pages. It was like a thick book as well. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think I ended up finishing it, and then I got mad because like we barely discussed it. Like we talked about so many things. It was about like Guantanamo Bay and the stuff with torture and getting information and things like that. And we talked about it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, I spent the better part of 2 days going through this book. And it's not that it takes me a long time to read 900 pages, but that book is so gritty and so hard to read that it's like, it's not an easy thing to read. It's very draining, like mentally, and, you know, as an American to read a book about a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay is, you have to deal with that guilt. You have to deal with the fact that this is what your country did to someone else for no reason other than they're from a part of the world where they just I don't know. They it has nothing to do with them. And that was a hard read. Um, but overall, the program's going really good. Something particular about behavior there that may be off-putting for us, and vice versa. Um, Approachability. They are not okay. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but none of my flatmates are British. All of them are from another country in Europe, and we all get along great, and we were all very quick to warm up to each other. Um, but none of them are British. And I feel like when you're asking this question, you're asking about the Brits. They're not very open. They don't come up to you. They don't ask you how your day is. You know, because I feel like in America, I can talk to anyone. I can, like, if I'm waiting somewhere and I see someone with like a cool outfit, I can be like, oh, I really like your jacket, or you know, whatever, or like I don't have to introduce myself. I don't have to know you. I could just be like, hey, did this happen yet? Like, did the bus pass already? And people will be like, no. I've had like legit conversations with people where like they tell me their life story, they drop some knowledge on me, and I'm like, dang, I'm really glad I talked to you and I asked you the time. And I'll never see them again, but that's fine. That's life in LA. That doesn't happen here. Like you, and for me, I love people and I love talking to people and I love like hanging out with them. Um, and so that was very hard to get used to. I kind of had to, like, I was in this whole new place and I was like, oh my gosh. And no one talks to each other. That did make me feel a little better, that I thought maybe like, am I doing something wrong? But no, they don't talk to each other. Only now on like week 3 are like my classmates like willing to talk to me, because I tried. Like anyone who goes to school with me knows how annoying I can be. Like especially people that like want to just go to class and get out. Like I don't let you do that. I'm gonna be like, hey, did he do the reading? I don't think I did the reading. You think he's gonna ask us about the reading? Like anyone can tell you that I pick people to be my friend, and then they're just my friends. Um, okay, Allison, thank you for bringing up the Germans. I love German girls. Like they are so much fun. Like I think there must have been like such a high amount of German immigrants to America that their culture, their friendliness, their openness has kind of become our openness and friendliness and things like that. I literally think that's where it comes from, because Americans are known to be like kind of over the top friendly. One of my flatmates, Bella, I don't know if she's watching. Let me see. Yeah, Bella's watching. She had one of like her best friend come over, and we just like we clicked right away. Like I love her, and yeah, no. Anytime I meet someone who's German, I'm like, because I know they're the chillest people in the world. And they're very warm. That's a bad stereotype. Uh, how's the food there? It makes me feel like we eat garbage. I'm not even kidding, guys. Like, it honestly makes me feel like, holy crap. Like, it doesn't make any sense for us to eat the way that we do, because they are doing sustainable food free from GMOs, antibiotics, preservatives, chemicals, MSG, like everything bad, they've taken it out. They've already gotten ways of sourcing everything locally. Anytime you buy milk, anytime you buy cream, anytime you buy meat, anytime you buy any kind of like basil or cilantro or anything like that, it has like this British thing where it's like grown by local farmers, and you don't have to look for it. You don't have, it's not like Trader Joe's where you have to go to a specific store if you want sustainable food. Everything in the store is sourced, in the most responsible way possible, and it makes me feel like the prices are not ridiculous. Okay, they're not Trader Joe prices. They're not Whole Foods prices. They are super affordable. In fact, here, it's cheaper for me to buy a week's worth of groceries than to go out like twice. That's the opposite of home. Like at home, it's cheaper for me to go out to a fast food joint than to buy groceries because groceries are ridiculously expensive in the States. And so that's kind of like a wake up call. It makes me feel like, holy crap, all because you hear the argument all the time that if you go green, that if you source locally, that if you do this, if you get rid of GMOs, pesticides, chemicals, everything's just going to skyrocket and everything's going to be different and no one's going to, there's going to be like widespread famine. It hasn't happened. And they're doing it right and they're doing it great. And I'm still losing weight. Like I've lost so much weight since I've been here. And it's not that I'm eating less. It's just like there's not sugar everywhere. There's not salt everywhere. It's literally just clean. And when you have clean food, you don't have to do too much to it. It's just happy and healthy. And so I was worried about the food because I was like, ugh, I'm going to have to eat like fish pie. But no, it's delicious and amazing and I have no complaints. What are some great spots you would recommend to someone to go and try as a tourist? Cambridge and Bath. Bath, if you just like want to go somewhere really romantic and relaxing, but if you're a museum freak like I am, you have to go to Cambridge because there are so many things there. You can walk around and feel the power of so many things that it's just, as a huge nerd, which I totally own up to being, it was really cool to be in a place of such knowledge, ancient knowledge, that I don't know. It's very moving. I actually only got to go to one museum, and I didn't get to spend enough time in it. So I will probably go back to Cambridge at some point and just spend a day at the Fitzwilliam Museum because they have a huge collection on ancient Greece and like actual artifacts, and they have like a Sumerian tablet, which is like it's like 9,000 years old. Like it's literally older than Jesus, and they have it displayed there, and I'm just like, you feel so small. You feel so like, when I saw that, and I was like rushing out of the museum, like because my friends were already outside waiting for me, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, what's that? That looks like I forget the name. It's not Sanskrit. It'll come back to me, and then I'll be upset that I didn't remember it. But I recognize the language because we had to practice it in history class, like writing with a little toothpick. And then it said right there, like it was the legend, it was essentially like a burial tablet, and it's a king like bragging about all his like conquests and all his wars and all the things that he had done, and how he died. And it was like this giant tablet, like floor to ceiling, and it was really moving because it was like, on the one hand, I was like, you did all these great things, you conquered so many people, you're still dead. And then at the same time I was like, but is he really though? Because he did that 10,000 years ago, and I learned his name way in the future. So it's kind of like he's kind of immortalized that way. I don't know. I had this weird, deep philosophical moment about it. I'm not going to go into that because then this video is going to just be ages long. If I'm a tourist and I want to feel like I want to live the full British experience, what would you recommend that I do? You have to go to London and you have to take the tube somewhere. Like, it doesn't really matter where, but that is like an essential London experience. You have to go to King's Cross. I have been to King's Cross lots of times, and I never go cute enough to take my Harry Potter picture because they literally do have a 9 3/4 spot where you can like take your picture and like pretend to like jump into the wall. I haven't done it only because every time I go to London, it's never like I'm so cute, guys. And so, yeah, one day I will go really cute. I will go in my Ravenclaw gear. I hope that's not a shock to anyone. Like, you know I'm Ravenclaw, right? Like that whole speech about museums. You should already know I'm not Gryffindor, guys. I'm a huge chicken and a big nerd. Pretty easy. Um, how has your routine changed up since you've been there? I don't sleep. Like I that sounds really bad, but it's I stay up till like 2, 3, and I don't know if it's because I'm talking to people back home or I don't have to be up early, but that's definitely changed. My sleeping pattern has completely changed. I wake up late, I go to sleep late. And normally at home it's like down by 11, up by 7. So I have no explanation for that. Maybe it's my anxiety. I don't know. What assumptions did people think of you as an American? They thought. See, but then again, their assumptions were like half right, half wrong. Their assumptions were that my professor actually assumed that I had more of like an America first and America only position on a lot of things. I'm very chill. I'm from California. Like I'm so like, hey man, live and let live. But I think he actually has a doctorate. I could remind me to come back to the whole doctorate thing because what he has his doctorate in is crazy to me. He has a doctorate and he spent a lot of time in the South, which is probably where he gets this idea from of America first and more specifically America only. I think being the daughter of immigrants, I'm definitely not America only. Like, and I definitely don't think America first. Like, our success should never come at the sacrifice of another nation's or another people's. But yeah, I had to like overcome that and show like, hey man, like I'm. But then again, there was a bias, and it came out in like the most uncomfortable way. I have to buy a lot of my books on Amazon. It's not like in the States where they have a bookstore here. Can you see my shirt? Can you see? Hang on. How do I do this? You know what? I'm not gonna move it. I'll just stand up and I'll like show you. It's like a university shirt. I got it for free. So I have to buy all my books online, and I have Prime at home. And so I was like, sweet, I'm gonna get all my books tomorrow. Like, it's gonna be the greatest thing. And then, like, I was searching for, because we have a locker on campus, we have an Amazon locker, and it wasn't showing up. And I was super annoyed and super upset. And none of the books were popping up. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, they're on my requirement list. Why doesn't Amazon have these? It turns out, because I emailed my professor, I was like, hey man, like, I'm not finding these books. Like, are they at a specific website? And he's like, no, they're on Amazon. And I'm like, no, they're not. Not one of them. And he's like, are you typing UK after .com? And I'm like, it's Amazon, it's worldwide. And he's like, try typing that in. And I'm like, okay, but I don't see what difference it's gonna make. It's an entirely different website. I was so upset. There's a different Amazon for the UK. I thought that when I searched Amazon, I was searching the whole world. Everything was at the disposal of me, and I was so upset. And this happened in class. Because I asked him in person, and I'm like, look, like I'm Googling it. And it goes to Amazon, but it's not there. And he's like, you're on the American one. And I'm like, Amazon isn't just American. But no, he put me on the UK one. And my Prime membership doesn't transfer. So if I want Prime here, I have to pay again. And there's different stuff on their Amazon than on mine. And I felt personally attacked. And I was like, oh my God. And I said something like, I can't believe this. I thought that when I searched Amazon, I had the whole world at my fingertips. And now I found out it's only people that want to sell to Americans. Half the world doesn't want to do business with America. And he's like, that thinking is super American. And I was like, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because he's absolutely right. That whole entitlement to think that, oh, anytime you search anything on the internet, like, I should get it like this. Like, that's very American, guys. So, yeah. They're like half right, half wrong about Americans and our entitlement. Because I don't think I'm entitled, but obviously, why would I think that I'm entitled? It's like the whole privilege thing. You don't know you're privileged until you're suddenly not. Okay, so Allison delivered a bunch of really good questions, and I'm really excited. Okay, so Allison asked, okay, have you observed any noticeable differences between British culture and U.S. culture? If so, what? Okay, so like the open-mindedness. We're very open-minded, and so are they, but they are not vocal about their opinions, like, at all. So, like, in America, I think we kind of pride ourselves on, like, getting our responses down to certain political questions. We have our zingers, we have our jokes ready. Like, you ask me about Trump, I can go on for 15 minutes. I have this whole stand-up routine about Donald Trump. Here, they're very more like, oh yeah. But, like, they're not smiling. That, too. Like, I can't do it because I smile all the time, like, naturally. They kind of walk around, not pissed, but, like, passive. And that was hard to get used to. Because I think Americans smile to each other. And I don't know where that comes from. But, like, if I'm walking down the street and I see someone, I'm like, and they're like, usually. And if they're not, it's like, oh, that person was so rude. So that's kind of different. They are very polite. They are not kidding. They are like super polite. Like, I have to mind my P's and Q's here. And I feel like in America, at least in my generation, we got kind of away from saying please, and we got more into saying, can you? I mean, if I ask someone something, I don't say, please do this, right? I say, can you do this? And then they would either say yes or no. I feel like when you say please, it's kind of like a veiled order. I don't say a lot of please. I actually put my please at the end, but they are very much, please, thank you, you're welcome. And so that's very nice. A typical day at uni for me is wake up, shower, run to class, take the shuttle. I live, okay, my campus, the University of Hearts, is, it's got two campuses. I live on College Lane, which is the main campus, but all my classes are at the satellite campus, which there's a free shuttle too, and it doesn't take very long, but it is kind of annoying that I live here, all my classes are over there. I'm not the only one. I think all the business people have to do the same thing. And then I come home. No, I go to class. I have to use my little ID as a badge and check into all my classes. Every single one. And if I go, they have workshops and tutorials here. So, and lectures. So lectures where the professor gives you the spiel of like, oh, this is what we're studying today, blah, blah, blah. And it's just lecture. And then tutorial is where you guys get together in a smaller group and you discuss what you learned about in lecture. You have to check in for both of those. As a humanities student, which is what I am here, I have to attend at least 78% of my classes while I'm here, which I was already planning to do, but the fact that I have to use my badge to prove that I was there seems a little, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, what if I don't want to? What if it's, don't I have the right to not go to class? It kind of feels like I don't. Like here it's like they care that you show up. In America, it's like show up, don't show up. It's your grade. We don't really care. And here, like, you have to go to class. And don't you dare be late, like, 'cause you get some looks that it's like the only time they look angry. Like, don't be late. Ever. Have you noticed any differences in the education there versus here? Um, I feel like it's more self-taught here. I think a lot of the learning that I've done is literally in this room, because I do a lot of my own reading, and then we go to lecture, we learn about the context of this literature, and then we go to tutorial, we talk about our feelings, and then I come home. The strength that I'm gaining here is just reading, 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 reading. There isn't too much on, like, I don't do mindless little assignments to prove that I read. If anything, it's more like, I know you read because you contributed to the discussion during tutorial. Like, it's not, I don't know. I don't have to do a lot of little work. I have big works. So that's different. I know you've been doing some small trips here and there. Which place has been your favorite so far and why? That's hard. And I'm still really only in the beginning. I'm only a month in. But I would have to say it's Bath. Because it's so beautiful and so historical, and it's the Jane Austen Center. Like, if you don't know me, like, you should know I'm a huge Jane Austen fan. We had a bit of a falling out for a little while, when I was, like, super, super, super into, like, some weird forms of feminism. But as I've been, maturing and going through different kinds of relationships and seeing how different relationships play out, Jane Austen has somehow become a lot more relevant in my life as someone on what she would call the marriage market. Like, it is shocking how fuckboys haven't changed at all. And so the Jane Austen Center was, like, really high up there, and I didn't think I'd ever get a chance to go. I mean, it's kind of like our mecca. Janeites, like, we love Bath, because I mean it's mentioned in literally every single novel. And when I pictured Bath, I didn't picture Bath. Like, I don't know what I had in my mind, of what Bath looked like, but I can't wait. I don't know if you can see that. That one right there, that's an anthology. I was trying to look into their souls. Yeah. That's an anthology. That book literally has every single story written by Jane Austen, and I cannot wait to, like, reread everything and, like, now know what this place looks like that she describes. And the little blue book right next to it is the same thing in mini form. How cute is that, guys? And also, that dinosaur book my friend Bella bought for me. It's about dinosaurs, which I also love. So yeah, so Bath is probably my favorite so far. Is it easier to make friends there as opposed to here? No. It's easy to make friends with other internationals because generally they're a lot more open and they're a lot more, like, they're also looking to make a lot of friends. It's hard to make friends with British people. They're very nice. Don't get me wrong. They're not straight up rude. It's just that they're not quick to warm up to you. Like, they have to see you a few times in the same place at the same time before they're like, this is a decent human being. I would not be afraid if this person came up and said something to me. Like I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's because I'm used to just like walking up to people and being like, "Hi, how's it going?" Like, you so you like bread? Like, I don't know. I don't think I asked that. But yeah, no, it's harder to make friends here. It'll get better, I'm sure. Nobody's been rude. It's just like they don't talk to anyone. So I know you were a little anxious before leaving. I was, guys. I was tripping balls. I was out of my mind. How do you feel now since you've been there for about a month? In hindsight, were your concerns justified? I'm really good. I have days where I really miss my mom because she and I are like best friends. Um, and I have days where I really, really miss my best friends, especially when something boy related happens. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Anytime I have something that I feel like, oh my gosh, you guys, like the first week was a trip because stuff would happen and I'd like want to text Kelly or Jackie and I'd realize they're asleep and I'd have to wait to message them because there's such a huge time difference. And so like what I've figured out is um, if I tell them when I think it, then they'll just get to it whenever. Um, but I think at first I was very like, oh no, this is going on and I can't just message them about it. But I totally can. So yeah, that's not a big deal anymore. Um, were my concerns justified though? I think before getting here, I was really worried about um, leaving my family. Um, I've never really been on my own. I mean, there was like a time where I kind of did, like half home, half at my boyfriend's house, and then half at home. Um, but no, it was fine. Like I have run a home. I basically did run a home, and it wasn't that hard. And in fact, I took pretty good care of it, and not only myself, but like other people. And so, no, it wasn't justified. Like, I totally know what I'm doing. I just didn't know that I knew what I was doing. Um, what trips do you have planned in the next months? France, I think, is gonna be up there. I have to go to Paris, uh, because it's Paris. Um, and I think we might be going to, yeah, no, we actually are going to Scotland. I'm gonna be up in Edinburgh. So that's what's going. Your favorite British word that you've heard that you might not know otherwise. I don't know if it's straight up British, but I was told that I'm a lass. Like LASS. And it basically means like you're a girl, but in like a certain context, it means that you're amazing. And I was told this by a British guy, and I'm like, oh, well, thank you. I would call you a lass, but you are not a girl, I think. And so that was really like, because I was like, I'm a lass, and then like my mind automatically went to like lassie, like a dog, like maybe he was calling me loyal and friendly, but no, it means like you're amazing. So, and also a girl. So I was like, oh, I am both of those. Yes. Do you find yourself talking in a British accent sometimes? No. No, actually what happens is something even worse. There are certain words here that must be pronounced the way they pronounce it. It would be like if I went to Los Angeles and instead of saying jalapenos, I would say jalapenos. Like, you would just look weird as fuck. So I've had to learn that it isn't Hertfordshire, it's Hertfordshire or Hertfordshire. And if you shorten it, it's Hearts. You say Hearts, University of Hearts, even though it's not spelled that way. So they say I have a history of Renaissance, which in America we say Renaissance. Here they say Renaissance. That's how they say it. I am not comfortable saying Renaissance, the way they are. And so I'll try to like half American it, half British it. And my best friend Kelly was like, that just sounds weird. That sounds like that clip of, what is it, Key and Peele, where he's like, D nice? Like, she said that's what I sounded like. And I'm like, ugh, I'm not even saying it either American or British. Like, it's just like this weird thing in the middle where I sound like an idiot to both groups of people because I'm like, I can't say it in American and I can't say it in British because I have like this weird like, oh, like, no, I don't want to get like an accent. But, yeah, that does kill me. I agree, Kelly. Something you notice in Germany is the majority of uni students dress really nice. Not expensive, they just look put together. Would you say that's the case here too? Not with the natives. A lot of British people really don't. They dress just like we do. But my flatmates dress really nice for class. And it's really nice to see. Like, it's like, I mean, I don't dress like a schlop anyway. Like, I brought pretty clothes, and I tend to wear my nicer clothes, especially when I have class. Sorry, we like kicked the stand. My flatmates get really cute, and they're business people, so they kind of have to present themselves a little better than we do. But yeah, they dress not to the nines because that would be like too much. They don't really like try that hard. It's just kind of effortless. But if we were like twice as formal as we are, we would look a lot better, is what I've gathered from that whole thing. My friend Jose asked, these aren't England related, but I thought it'd be funny. Favorite pizza topping? Pineapple. If you had Superman powers for one day, what would you do? Probably rid the earth of the person destroying democracy. That's all I'm gonna say on that. If you had drinks with someone dead or alive, who would it be? Oh, Abigail Adams? Probably. Yeah, Abigail Adams. I think she had a lot of really good ideas, and she was married to a tool, but she had a lot of really cool stuff to say. Kind of like a proto-feminist. My friend Alex asked, has anyone side-eyed you for being a tourist? Only once, and only because I did something so ridiculously American, but at that point I really didn't care because I wanted my picture. I was at a museum and there was a cute little dinosaur. I forget his name. Therocondosaurus? I don't know. Cute little dinosaur, and I wanted to take a selfie. And so, because he had like the most adorable expression on his face, because it was like a 3D model of he's a native to like Bristol in that area, so they really went all out for this dinosaur. And I didn't care. Like I pulled out my phone and I was like trying to like manage both of us to have like the same expression, because it was like, ah, and I was like, ah. It was like my profile pic like not too long ago. It's still there if you want to go see it. And there was like a family walking by, and they were just like, Americans. And I was like, I don't even care. I'm not mad. That's fine. I have a selfie with a dinosaur. And so like that was one of the, that was probably one of the only times I noticed people looking at me as a tourist. As an American, I get weird looks all the time, and I've stopped caring. Um, have you met any cute English boys which you had any passionate escapades? I, I have met someone. It's still early. It's still really new, and I don't feel ready to talk about it publicly. But yeah, I met someone, and I he's important. That's all I'll say on that. Like he's I don't want to talk about it, but he is English, and he's from here, like a local, like to this area. He came to this university, and yeah, I really can't say anymore because it's still new. But yeah, he's really cool. Uh, what differences and similarities do you see between the coursework at your school and the coursework at Cal State LA? Um, Actually, we've been reading the same stuff. I talked to my friend Seidel a lot back home, and we were both reading the something something of the captive of something something. I don't know. We were both like, "What is this?" But yeah, we're reading the same stuff. It's just like I think the context is a little different. Um, Obviously, I'm not learning it from an American. I'm learning it from a British professor at a British university. And so I get more of like a global perspective. Um, and it's something to get used to. I think work wise, I think it's pretty much the same. Uh, I don't have to do a lot of mindless little assignments, but I do have to read. I haven't decided which one's better for me. So, but we are reading the same material pretty much. Um, so that's cool. Is English cooking as bad as they say it is, or is it worse? um, I would say I'm a pretty good cook, but the ingredients that they have here I'm just not familiar with, and so I've made some pretty questionable stuff that I've had to eat because it was like my money, and so I can't just like buy new groceries. But the food I've had is pretty good. Um, they don't cook their fries long enough, which they call chips. No, their fries aren't crispy on the outside. Their fries are more just kind of like passed through oil, and yeah, they're kind of soggy. It's kind of gross. But I have had some good fries, but they're like the rare. Most fries are just kind of don't eat them. My friend Daisy is asked, "Is common courtesy different out there?" Absolutely, and the fact that it makes me think that we really don't have common courtesy at all. Like here, people open doors for you, and they just, I don't know, they're very like, maybe there's different parts of the country that are not the way LA is. In LA, you kind of take care of yourself, and I've seen some girls kind of get annoyed when a guy opens the door for them because it's usually an excuse to look at their butt. But no, they're very polite here, and common courtesy here is like a lot higher than it is in the States. That is an accurate stereotype. Um, does it smell like weed like it does in Cali? Actually, yeah, a lot like weed. If I wake up in the morning and I walk behind the flats, like in the background by the parking lot, um, straight up smells like weed. And I don't think they're anywhere near legalizing it the way we have. I think here it's just straight up illegal to have. I don't think they're open about it at all. But it does smell like weed, pretty often. Are the men sexier? Uh, and do you feel sexier being in a foreign country? Um, when I remember the first time I walked around in London, I was like blown away. There were so many cute guys, tall, handsome, lean, cut, fit, like, and they're just walking around and they all wear suits, which to like a female is like, what? They're walking around in suits and they're talking with other guys who also have really nice cut hair, and it's like, do these people just walk around? I felt like I was walking through a GQ photo shot, and it was like, is it so like, do you have to be handsome to be British? Like, even their old guys, I can tell used to be like nines and tens. Like, I will add the caveat that there are some people that you can just tell they don't take care of themselves, and those people have always been hopeless. But when you walk around the city, the men on average are a lot cuter than American guys, and there's a lot of different kinds. So that's not like racist in any way, because I mean there's like Turkish guys, Moroccan guys, there's like black guys, and it's not that I'm saying like the white boys are really cute. Everyone is insanely cute. Maybe it's because they're tall. That's my type. I love tall guys. But they're like, you can tell they work out. So they're very handsome. Do you feel sexier being in a foreign country? No. No. Like, my self-esteem has kind of taken a hit. There's a lot of really pretty girls, very tall girls. I've never felt so short in my life. And I'm already angry about being 5'2". And there's a lot of girls that are just way taller than me, thin, cute, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. And so, like, I'm just kind of like, oof. Yeah, no. I don't get the looks. And, I mean, I'm still a snack, but, yeah, I don't look like a supermodel. There's a ton of girls that they look like supermodels, at least to me. And then you tell them that they look like supermodels, and they're like, I'm like 10 inches away, or like, I'm like 5 inches away from being supermodel material. And I'm like, I'm 5'2". So, yeah. My friend Kiana said, what candy have you found that isn't in the US? And again, I'm gonna bring out the Kinder Egg, because this was actually really good, and I can't just like not eat this. I've also found a bunch of Kit Kats, which is crazy, because I don't think we have so many Kit Kats. I think we have like maybe 3 kinds. I will show you another time, 'cause I don't really want to bring them out. Do you have a favorite spot there yet? Yes, my room. I know that sounds like I'm being selfish. I'm not. Look how cute this place is. Like, I've totally moved in. And like, I don't know, just like, I really like my room. It makes me think I have too much stuff at home, and I need to get rid of all of it and just like start over. I want one of these cork boards in my room when I go back. Mom and Dad, I know you're watching. My friend Michelle on Facebook said, when people find out you are from the US, do they treat you differently, like at restaurants or stores? Yes, with a lot of patience, because I still say dollar. Not consciously. But they correct me every time. And then I'm like, fuck. I really thought I had it that time. But no. They're very like patient, and they're very like, they explain things slowly. As soon as they hear me, like, I feel like they wouldn't normally talk to their customers so much, but because I'm like, I'm a dumb American, help me, they're very much like, okay, well, first you cue here to do this, and then you cue here to do this. Cue means line. I don't know why they decided to go with cue. Whatever. Line. I find myself doing that too. Like, whenever they say something in British, I translate it in my head into American, so that I'm like, line. in my head. You're saying line. Yeah, it's awful. Um, yeah, they treat me with a lot of patience because I don't get it. Uh, are you really not supposed to tip servers over there? They they really don't tip. Um, Sometimes they'll take a gratuity into your receipt, but only in usually after like in parties bigger than 8. They get paid well, guys. They don't need to be tipped. Um, More than once, like if something comes up and I'm gonna get change back, I usually just in the States I'll be like, keep the change, and it'll be their tip. Here, like they're like, no, this is your change, and they'll like give it back to you, and um, okay, it's like if you don't want that, that's fine. Oh, what I do like is that there's no sales tax. And I realize that's a California problem, not necessarily an American problem. But I love that I can put things in my cart and I can keep a number in my head and not be like slammed with another higher number at the cash register, which by the way they call till here. Till number 1, till number 2, till. Till when? I don't know. That's just what they do. They don't say register. They say till. Um, yeah, that's it. Um, have you driven out there and how does it feel to drive on the wrong side of the road? I love that you said wrong side of the road. That is very American of us to be like, you drive on the wrong side, we're obviously right, you need to stop. Um, I haven't driven, but it was an adjustment to get used to where you look when you're crossing. I think we went to London like the first week that I was here, and I had a few close calls, like a few, like 5 or 6, where I almost died. Because people do drive fast in London, and I would cross the street, and I'd be looking like the way I would normally back home, and not realize I have to look this way. And more than once, I got like, "Nah," and I was like, "I'm sorry," and it like scurry back to like the sidewalk, pavement, pavement. But you get used to it. I'm definitely used to it now. I mean, I'm still kind of paranoid, and so I look like, I don't know, like a meerkat on the street, just like looking both ways anyway. But I mean, now I do have the habit of like looking this way, getting there, and then looking the other way. So it's not that hard. It's just an adjustment. It's fine. My friend Nate on Facebook asked, do you like the train? Do you feel comfortable riding a bike? How do you get around? Nate, or Nathan, is actually, he works in public transit. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but this is like what he does for a living. So I'm not surprised he asked this question. I do like the train. I mean, is it pretty? No. But I love that for like what we would think of as like $10, I can do the entire city of London, unlimited. That's crazy. And reliable too. I mean, there's like one line that keeps having hiccups, but it's crazy to me that if you miss a bus in LA, you're either screwed or super unlucky because you're gonna be waiting for a while. They don't come every 2 minutes. Those trains, every 5 minutes there's another train. And so it really is really nice to think that you can literally just navigate around really easily. And if you're 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's gonna be okay. Um, I don't really like riding bikes. I have. I don't want to. I walk a lot. I walk a lot here. It killed me at first, but now I'm kind of used to it. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm losing weight too. What is your favorite museum? Um, so far, probably. I don't know if we could call the Jane Austen Museum a museum because it's not really filled with artifacts. It's filled with a lot of knowledge about her, but there are very few things actually that used to belong to her. So I would have to say the Fitzwilliam in Bath. Or no, the Fitzwilliam in Cambridge, I think. Um, I haven't been to too many museums. There's the big ones in London that I haven't gone to only because I know I'm going to want to spend lots of time there and I will probably need to get there in the morning and leave just as they're closing the door to get out. Um, I I think my favorite might be the Natural History Museum. They have a really famous dinosaur there. I think like the first Dilopithecus they ever found is there, and he has a name, and he's super famous in like the paleontology world, and I want to go see him. But every time I get a chance to go to the Natural History Museum, um, I only really get to be there for like an hour or two, or like I would have been only to would have only been allowed to spend like an hour or two before we have to head back to the uni. Um, and I haven't been wanting to do that. I want to go to the Natural History Museum and take my time because I love reading everything. I love really staring at things and looking at things like that. But the one in Bath was also really cool. I saw like real Egyptian artifacts and that was really cool. Like that, I remember reading a lot about these pharaohs in elementary school, and to be in the presence of something that was buried with them and then was transported, and they've done all this research and stuff. It was really cool. Um, so that one's also really good. Um, if you were to downplay one attraction in London, what would it be? The Eye. I just don't think it's that cool. Um, I don't know, maybe because I haven't been on it. It's 30 pounds, y'all. Like, that is not. That's 30 pounds would be like 45 US dollars. Um, about, give or take. Uh, so, no, I don't see the point to the London Eye. Um, I'm sure it's a lot of fun if you're in it, but it's freezing cold, usually. And now you want to go higher in a tin box? That doesn't sound like fun. But I haven't done it, so I'm not really interested in doing it either. So, my friend Nada on Facebook also said, during your time in England, are you seeing any racial or class divides politically the way they are developing here in the States? Um, Not as awful as we are. I mean, I have asked about that to people that are from here, and they they say that they do have people that are very right wing, far right, and they want everyone gone. They want all the immigrants gone. The UK took in a lot more refugees than we did, a lot of refugees, and now they're starting to get more of the feedback that they should kick them out and they should just, you know, Britain for British people and whatever. Most people recognize that as garbage, um, and then the conversation ends. I feel like that's where we used to be about 2 years ago, where we saw this kind of fascism talk rising and rising, and it doesn't get shot down anymore, not in America. Now it's like a divide. There are sides to Trump, and that's terrifying and disgusting. But yeah, no, racial and class divides, um, not so much. What do you think? What do the English folk think about Trump and Kavanaugh, and how has that affected how they see in the USA? Um, not too many Brits knew about the whole Kavanaugh thing. Um, I kept up with the Kavanaugh thing in because of BBC. BBC had it running all day, and so I watched the whole trial. I watched the whole thing happen in real time, and the way that they reported it was way cleaner, I guess I would describe it, than the way I think we would describe it. Just very like factual and very like to the point. They didn't really put a lot of slant in it, and they just reported the facts. I have had a few Trump conversations, not accusatory. In fact, as soon as I say I'm from California, they're like, "Oh, okay, you hate him," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm also Mexican," and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and so yeah, he's not popular. Everyone here hates him, especially in London. I don't know what he did to London specifically, but yeah, they hate him. I think they banned him actually, or something like that. Um, will you be voting in the midterm elections? Excellent question, guys. You need to vote. Please get out there. Please vote. This is a big election. We need to change this tide, or we're facing so many changes to our country that I feel will have irrevocable and, you know, long lasting effects. We need to really step up during this midterm election, and you need to vote. Um, Unfortunately, because I didn't have my address at the time, I really didn't know my address until I got here. Um, I haven't gotten my mail ballot or vote ballot thing by mail. I don't know what it's called yet. I am registered to vote. I plan on voting. It just hasn't happened yet. I did just get my address, and I will post it in the description. So if you want to send me a care package, you can. I do suggest that you go through my mom because my sister works at FedEx now. So she might, if you talk to my mom, she'll either help you out or tell you what to do. Um, Unless you want to spend an arm and a leg and ship it anyway on your own, then do whatever you want. Um, but yes, please vote. I will be voting in the midterm elections. Please vote in general, guys. It's so important. My friend Susie said, "What about the crowds?" I've only been in one crowd that I feel is like a real crowd. I think my different. I know, Rick. I know. Um, the crowd. I've only really been in one crowd, and that was when we were on the underground, and I think it might have been like rush hour or something, but we all had to cram like sardines. It was like those Japanese clips that you see on the internet every once in a while where like people are literally like rubbing shoulder to shoulder to like get into there, and that was annoying, but their crowds are very it's worse in LA, basically. Everything is worse in LA. The dorms are really nice. They're very clean. They get to your concerns right away. Like my heater wasn't working, and there was a guy here the next day. Um, it was very, very good. Traveling from city to city, kind of a pain in the butt, but it's feasible for a student to get around, and that is more than we can say. So, I mean, is it easy? No. Is it cheap? Not particularly, but it's still better than what we have. Um, is it different or difficult to keep track of money spending? It's actually pretty easy because I'm not really using my card. I mean, I use my card to withdraw money, and I do that weekly, and I get a couple hundred, and I make that last as long as I can, and then only when I need to, I'll go and withdraw money again. And I've been running on cash, and it's been working, which makes me think, and I also have stayed within budget, which makes me think running on cash really does help you save because it hurts. Every time you hand over a 20 or a fiver, you're just like, please don't take my money. Whereas with plastic, it's kind of just like, you didn't feel it. Nothing changed. You don't see it until you go into your bank account and you're like, oh my gosh, I blew through $700 in 2 hours? What? I've never done that, but I could. Are you getting to know people from all around the world? Yes. I don't know if they did it intentionally, but everyone in my flat is international, and most of the people in other flats around here are also international, and the British people are in like the cheapest ones, the cheapest flats, all the way down in like the really kind of ugly looking flats. That's where they are. And so I really am meeting like people all over. It's so funny. Like when we go to the Forum, which is like the nightclub that they have on campus. They have a nightclub on campus. They serve alcohol. America needs to step it up. But anyway, you'll literally have like someone from Mexico, you'll have someone from Germany, you'll have someone from France. It's like this weird UN kind of feel, but we're all just like dancing and partying. It's like the coolest thing. I literally have friends from all over now, so that's really cool. What is the Mexican food like there? I think it's a good gauge of Mexican food if I feel like there's a positive relationship between how far you are from Mexico and how good the Mexican food is and how authentic it is. 'Cause the further you get away from it, it's just not the same. I feel like you know how when you go to a Mexican restaurant and you can tell if it's authentic or not just by the smell? That's what keeps happening here. I've had good Mexican food, but it's usually the one that we make ourselves. Or there was like this one time that we went to this Mexican place, and that was really good, but technically they're from San Francisco. I think they're Mexicans that grew up in San Francisco and then moved to Bath. Or it's something like that. But I remember their whole spiel was like, we're from San Francisco, California. And so that was really good. Although when we went, they were out of like half their ingredients. So that was kind of a bummer. But it's pretty good overall, I think. It's just like their meat is different, guys. Like I tried really hard to recreate some of my food from home, and it just doesn't taste the same. I kind of hate the beef here because it smells like beef, which I realize sounds weird, because that makes it seem like, what does our beef smell like if not beef? It doesn't smell like anything. Like I feel like when I cook meat at home, there's no meat smell that lingers. Here it does. Like, and I was told that's because we treat our meat. Like we add chemicals to it, we add ammonia, we add all these things that like get rid of the smell, which you shouldn't be eating. Don't eat ammonia, guys. I've had the same thing happen to me in Mexico where they would put their meat on the heat and it would smell like meat. And I would just be like, I don't like it. But then I'm like, in my mind, like, holy crap, like, is this what it's supposed to be like? And I just don't like it because I'm not used to it. What garbage am I eating? That's kind of terrifying, to be honest. My friend Brittany, also on Facebook, hi Brittany, asked, what is a general consensus on how people view Americans? We're goofy. That's what I've gotten. We're friendly. We like our guns. That's, I think, the one that keeps coming up. I don't know if it's because of the news or the stuff that uh, we say when we're over here. I've had a lot of gun conversations, really insightful gun conversations. I'm not a fan of guns. I don't like guns. I don't own a gun. I've shot guns. I've gone and I haven't gone hunting, but I have shot a rifle. I'm not sure if that's the same as a shotgun, but I've done those. Didn't really like them. I didn't like the shoulder pain that came after. I've shot an automatic, semi-automatic, a revolver, which I think was my favorite. But like this whole thing of like guns are not disgusting to me. Um, that's an American thing. Uh, there's this weird thing in my mind where, because I had a friend tell me about how in France, no one who's like a, oh God, um, the only people who have guns in France are police officers and soldiers, and they have them professionally and they're trained in it, and those are the only people who are allowed to have guns, and normal citizens cannot own a gun. And when I heard that, I was like, I kind of bristled at that. I was like, I want gun control. I really do. I think we have a problem in our country with guns, and I don't think that just anyone should buy a gun. Um, but at the same time, if the government told me that I couldn't have a gun, even though I'm a healthy, happy, law-abiding citizen, I'm kind of like, why not? Like, I don't know. It was a weird hypothetical situation where it was like, do I want a gun? No. But if I got told I couldn't have a gun, that's not the same thing. Like, for some reason, I feel like I have the right to own a gun if I haven't done anything bad. But then again, it's like, that got pointed out to me as being super American. The right to own a gun. Because I don't actually want a gun. But I feel protective about my right to own one in a hypothetical situation where I do want a gun. I don't know. It's hard to articulate, and I'm sure by the end of this trip, I might have a different idea. Yeah. I already answered that one. Have you had any trouble understanding people's accents, or has anyone pointed yours out? Yes. I thought I had a pretty good handle on um, British uh, British accents, but I really don't. When they talk really fast or they mumble, which they do a lot, they kind of say things under their breath. I can't catch it. Like when it's really really fast, and that happens sometimes. Um, I just have to be like, I'm sorry. Like I have to have them repeat it, and then they like say it slower, and then I'm like, oh, okay, got it. Um, yeah, but and there are some accents where I'm just like, eh. Um, have you had? Oh, what's the best thing you've had so far? Um, See, that's hard. Um, Probably the Italian food that we had in Bath. That was really just like amazing, amazing food. Um, that was insanely good. I also was a very big fan of the Italian ice cream that we got at the place in London, right on the river. That was magical ice cream. I swear, it was so good. Um, are people as uptight as TV makes them to be? Uh, I mean, not when you get to know them. I mean, I think they're outwardly maybe a little more closed off than we are. Um, but once they warm up to you, they are just as fine as, anybody else. Um, they are very like closed off more than we are. Um, Jake from school asked, "What do you miss the least about Southern California?" Uh, mm, I'm really sorry I didn't prepare answers for these ahead of time, guys. I really am just reading them as soon as I say them. Thing I miss the least about Southern California. The smog. The smog. The air here is pristine. And even here, people are like, this air is dirty. And I'm like, it can get cleaner than this. Like, it makes me feel like we are breathing, like, exhaust pipes. Like, it's awful. It smells up here the way Griffith Park smells. Like, it's amazing. So I think I miss that the least. The smog. Um, are you reconsidering my advice to be there a whole year? I did. I'm not gonna lie. I considered staying another semester, but financially, I don't know if that's trust no air you can't see. Oh, guys, you shouldn't see air. That's the point. Um, if I had the financial ability to stay here a year, I might do it. I would still go home for Christmas, but the fact that I don't have the money and I want to see my family, it keeps me from being here a whole year, which is what I think my mom was counting on. Um, what have you learned that you couldn't have possibly learned without moving away? That I that my optimism is my saving grace. It really is. I can stand in something so uh, so scary and still see the good and still see the positives to it, and it's not so scary. Um, I can stand in something and, you know, try to figure it out, and I don't think I knew that I had that. Um, because usually back home it would be like if something bad were to happen, I panic and I go and tell someone, and then they might also panic, and then it gets resolved, and then it's like, oh, that panic was unnecessary. Yeah, like really didn't have to do that. Here, if something bad happens, I can't just be like, eh. I have to be like, okay, well, panic is useless. What do we do? And so that's important to know that you have the strength. You don't need to be told everything's gonna be okay. You can do that to yourself, and so that's good. Favorite British candy or snack food? Cheese and onion chips, which they call crisps. I think crisps. Um, yeah, they sound super gross, like cheese and onion, but they're really good. They taste like Pringles to me, honestly, sour cream and onion Pringles. I think that's why I like them. Chocolate covered biscuits are also really high up there. My friend Gabe wants me to talk about the first time I realized I wanted to be an English major. Uh, um, Probably high school. Um, I've always been a reader. I've always been a writer. Did not consider my future in the English world until I had a teacher named Miss Diaz. Or She was Miss Diaz. Now she's Miss Roveri. She's married with babies and she's happy and doing all that stuff. Um, she was doing her master's at the time, I think in 20th century American lit, and she would talk about it and her enthusiasm, especially when she talked about Poe, like Edgar Allan Poe, I was like, yeah, like I get that. Like I want that. And so um I think she was like one of the first teachers to really just, yes, Allison, yes. She knows. You had Miss Napoli, right? They think they're still besties, dude. I love that. They're still besties, like to this day. We've been out of high school a long time, and they're still BFFs. Um, yeah, no. So she was like the first one to give me a glimpse into the English world, and that's when I was like, I could really do that. I'd be pretty good at that because we had conversations about that as well. Um, and then yeah, yeah, 10th grade English class. Uh, Most embarrassing moment. I don't know if you meant like in general or in England. So I'm just gonna we're gonna put that on the back burner because I don't want to oust myself right now. Um, Strangest thing that has happened to you so far. Our Domino's pizza gets delivered, and it was weird because the guy drove off and then he went to the store, but then he didn't, and then he came back, but then that wasn't our driver, and I don't know. Point is, I got pizza 10 minutes late. That was the weirdest thing. Because it never got resolved. Um, Instagram questions. Okay, so this is from my friend Rick. Um, are the cemeteries in Westminster Abbey open to the public to walk up to? No. The majority of the graves at Westminster are inside the abbey, which is something that you have to get used to. All these abbeys are filled with people buried on the floor of the abbey. And so if you're walking around the church, technically you're walking over dead people, which to me seems super sketch. Like I don't like that feeling. Like I remember when we went to the St. Albans Cathedral, which is like the oldest um cathedral, the oldest place of Christian worship in Britain. There was people there from like the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. They were just buried under your feet, and every time I walked over what I felt was like a tombstone, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know, I didn't feel right walking over people's graves, but I mean that's what they're there for. Um, so no, you need to pay to get into the abbey, I think. Or you have to pay to walk around in the abbey. You can enter. I mean, obviously it's a place of worship still. So they don't have it closed off, but you to see the stuff that I want to see, like Poets Corner and stuff like that, then yeah, I think you need to pay something. Um, how much to visit the Diana Memorial? There's a few Diana memorials, and in fact, I think 2 years ago they made a walk. Prince Harry and Prince William picked a few spots in London that had either special meaning to them or special meaning to her, and you can get a map and you can go to all these stops that are like within walking distance. And I walked past a few of those stops on our way to Covent Garden. And they lead you to her big memorial. Um, that's a free thing. You can walk and do that and read the little signs that they have along the way. That memorial is free. There is one where her body is buried. Don't know if it's open, and I'm pretty sure it's expensive. Um, but memorials are generally free. Stonehenge is about 2 hours from London. um, in good traffic. I haven't gone. I want to go. Just haven't gotten around to it because it's in the opposite side, and it's the whole connections between cities thing again, that where it's kind of inconvenient to get there. It's probably easiest just to get a driver. Um, what's the best pub you recommend? None so far. I feel like to really recommend a pub, you have to be there a few times and you have to have consistently good service and good drinks. I haven't spent enough time in bars to really say this is a good bar. Um, so none yet. Yet I'll answer that next time. Hopefully by then I'll have a haunt that I go to all the time. Are you gonna take a picture walking Abbey Road? I think so, only because I'm that girl. I am the traditional, stereotypical American girl who loves selfies and who loves a really good photo op. Ain't no shame in my game. I'll take a picture if I want to. YOLO. And this is another one. This is from Vashti. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. But I met her at Cal State LA when I was doing my handmade experiment. I don't know if you guys remember that. When I dressed up as a handmaid from The Handmaid's Tale for a week. And yeah, she met me when I was like in full regalia, and so yeah, that we stayed in contact after that. How was roaming the space of great writers in history inspired your writing? I actually haven't written very much while I've been here. I've been wanting to, only because that tends to be my emotional outlet is writing. I get through a lot of my really big dilemmas by writing it out, and I haven't had a chance to do that here because we're always constantly on the go. Um, it's inspired me more in terms of my life philosophy, where it's like a lot of important people get caught up in always trying to say the right thing, always trying to do the right thing, always making sure that they don't lose face. And the more I learn about my favorite writers and my favorite figures in history, their lives were full of failure. They were full of big whoopsies, and they had huge repercussions to these mistakes. And in the end, they still succeeded. They still did everything that they set out to do. And I think that's when, because I knew a lot about Jane Austen, but at the center, you learn about, not, you learn about the darker stuff as well. You learn about her dad dying too young. You learn about the bond she had with her sister. You learn about all the trouble that she had getting published. How she was like in her early 40s when she died, single, and she never got to see her name in print, essentially, because she passed away before she revealed herself. She originally published all her books under like a pseudonym, or as a lady. And so Jane Austen, the Jane Austen, never actually got to see Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And so that to me was like, sometimes your hits don't happen when they think you're going to happen. Like, you have in your mind this trajectory of your life. And when things don't follow that trajectory, you feel like a failure. You feel like by now I should be like married with kids, and I should have this, and I should have that, and I should have done this. And that is such a unproductive hang up to have. And it's something that I've experienced, and it's something that I've had to deal with a lot in my life, especially because I'm in my mid-20s and I'm doing this. I'm the oldest in my flat. And so that's an adjustment as well. And it's like, the more I learn about these writers and these influencers and these huge important people, they had failures way bigger than mine. I think my biggest failure is probably like taking too long at community college. These people straight up messed up everything, and it seemed like they could not come back from it. Some of them kind of never really did. It didn't invalidate their life. It didn't invalidate who they were as people. They were still amazing figures, and they were still so cool and so important. And so I think that's what's inspiring, and that's kind of shifted my perspective a little bit, is that people that I look up to weren't perfect, and that's important to note, because I think I get hung up on that. I think, like most English majors, I like the idea of being ideal in almost every way, which I'm close to it, but not quite. But no, that's probably the biggest aha moment to come out of that. If you could sit for an unlimited amount of time at Jane Austen's desk, what story would you write? Honestly, probably something about... see, it's hard to tell. I actually... If I sat down at Jane Austen's desk, I would probably write a story about a girl who was obsessed with Jane Austen, and she just writes a story about how much of a fan she is and how she kind of gets obsessed with her, and then like through that, like, I don't know, she realizes like her own stuff, and I don't know, it would probably be like a weird introspective dialogue between me and Jane Austen. I don't know. That's a good question, though. That is like a really good question. What would be the hardest thing to give up when you come back to the States? Mm, that's a good question, because everyone asks what I'm missing. Uh, I don't know if... Oh, that's a good question. Probably my friends. I'm so spoiled here. Like, I have friends on every floor, and so it's really nice to just like go down a flight of stairs and see a friend, go up a flight of stairs and see another friend. Um, it's really cool to just have my friends live in the same house. It's a dream. Um, I'll probably miss that the most, to be honest, because we're all from different countries, guys. We're not just gonna like go apart. We're gonna like literally be in different countries, and so that's kind of like, that's gonna be hard. Um, Comparing the classroom structure and the collegiate education system, what are three things you think Cal State LA in general could take pointers on? Um, I think we give, first of all, alcohol. They give it here. Like, I went to a reception and they had wine, and they gave us wine, and it was like unlimited wine, as much wine as I wanted. I had like two, and then I was like, oh, can't be drunk at school, but I was buzzing. Okay, it was real wine. And they have a nightclub um, here on campus, which is so good, guys. Like, I get to have my fun and then walk home. Like, it's the easiest thing. So, revise your alcohol. Um, I don't... This school is so good about having events. Literally, I don't know if you can see that. Do you see that? This thing right here? That... There's an event here every day of the week. And that's, I think, something that's missing from Cal State LA. Cal State LA used to be a commuter school, and I hear that all the time, and I roll my eyes at it, because it's like, yeah, in the 90s. It's not anymore. Like, there you have people coming from all walks of life, and not everyone works. And I respect people that do. Believe me, I know the grind, I know the hustle. I've been there. I work 3 jobs when I'm at home. But Cal State LA really does need to step up on fostering community. And I think that's what the difference is. The difference is here I see the same faces at different parties, at different events, and that kind of maybe it's because they need it. Because again, British people need to see you once or twice before you talk to them. Um, but I just think like at home, wouldn't it be nice if we had like fun stuff? And I mean, I think in California we tend to be a little more stuck up with our education. We tend to be like, this is serious time to do serious work about serious topics. And I think we take ourselves a little too seriously. Like, they had a carnival here, and they had like inflatables here, and all these really fun, exciting things. And I think if we had had that at Cal State LA, people would have said one of two things. People would say, is this a high school? We have two on campus, so I don't think that's a big stretch. Or who's paying for this? Both valid things, absolutely. But I feel like if you just go to school and you only associate it with lecture and exams and essays and parking drama, you're not going to have a good time. And if you don't have a good time, you're not going to relax. And if you don't relax, you're always stressed. And if you're always stressed, nothing is going to stick in your brain. So what is the point of education if you're not enjoying it, if you're not absorbing it? And so I think that's probably my biggest thing is relax, enjoy it, feel what it feels like to be in school, and stop being so serious about all this kind of, I think it hasn't happened so much at Cal State LA, but definitely at my community college, for some reason, it was kind of cutthroat. Like, among the English majors, like, people knew who was higher in GPA and who was lower. And I mean, people tell me stories of, like, when they went up to Berkeley or UCLA, it's cutthroat. That place is a shark tank. And I'm not surprised. Like, I saw the warning signs of that sooner, which is why I opted to go to Cal State LA, because or UC Davis, I think, is where I wanted to go. Actually, Santa Cruz was pretty high. But the point is, I went with Cal State LA specifically because I was told that the vibe there was very chill. And even to me, it is a lot more relaxed than other places. Because I have visited UCLA and I have seen those. I've sat in an English lecture and I'm just like, I don't know if I could do 2 years of that. Props to people who go to UCLA. I haven't been to a Berkeley lecture. I've been to Berkeley, but I have not been to a lecture. Straight up savage, I think. And there's no need for that. You don't do your best on your own. I know we like to think we do. Americans are very individualistic, and I think we like to think that we do our best work on our own, but that's far from the truth. That is not the case at all. You do your best work when you collaborate, when you make connections, when you foster relationships. That's when you build on each other, egg each other on, make breakthroughs. You can't do breakthroughs on your own. It's not going to happen. It's going to take you forever if you reach your goal. Probably won't. And so I think that's what I think Cal State LA could improve on being here. Relax. It's not that big a deal. And, I think, yeah, probably that. Don't be too serious about education, because at the end of the day, we're developing as humans. That is the goal of education. It's not necessarily to get you a high-paying position in a corporate office. It's to make you a better human. And I think we tend to forget that in the States. So, is that it? I don't even know how many questions we answered. But thank you so much to everyone who submitted a question. I am so grateful. I had like two when when I was like a day ago. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the most boring Q&A ever. Maybe it was. No, but I feel like we got a lot of really good questions. Don't feel like you have to wait for me to tell you um, what when to ask. Feel free to shoot me a message anytime. I might not answer right away because of the whole time difference thing, but I will do my best. Um, yeah, anything that pops into your mind, please send me stuff that you think is interesting or stuff you would like for me to talk about, and I will do my best to either bring it up or respond or something. Um, yeah, that is it, guys. I need to go to sleep because, like, it is super late out here. Um, yeah. Okay. So, good night for me. I don't know. I think it's afternoon for you. I think. Hi, Stacey. Okay, guys. No, but seriously, it's like 2 in the morning for me. So I need to go to bed. And I love you all. And I will be posting my address. I think they call it address here. I haven't heard anything different yet. Um, I will be posting that in my description. So yeah. Oh, it's gonna be 6. God, that's weird. Um, I'll be posting my address and stuff, and so if you want to mail me something like a care package or whatever, please don't go crazy. Don't break the bank, okay? Like, get cute cheap stuff, and because shipping is already going to be like crazy expensive. Please tell me how much you pay in shipping because that's valuable information, especially if we figure out a hack where it's cheaper to send certain things through certain methods. I don't know. Um, Thank you for tuning in, guys. And I'll talk to you soon, I guess. I'm probably going to upload this one to YouTube. Haven't decided. We'll see how the feedback goes. But another Q&A done. All right, guys. See ya. It's not working. Is it working? Oh, God.